where to next? We put some things up, but there might be a few things to add to this. The trials themselves, some of them have almost finished, some of them have a bit to go, but the final trial reports will be put on the website. So hopefully somehow you guys are all connected with the website and the newsletter, and I think the information you've received today reiterates where the newsletter, where the website is. So the first thing, the trial reports will be up, and I'd say, Ruth, we're probably looking at very final reports in May, but there could be some short, sharp responses to today that go up onto the website before May, and they would also be in the newsletter. So Sue, in regards to the newsletter, we've got documentation in their packs today that would connect them with the newsletter, have we? Yep. So they will. If people aren't on the newsletter at the moment, there'll be a couple more newsletters coming out. Professional development modules. Ruth, perhaps you're engaged in that so heavily. So
thanks. Yeah. So in this regard, Jackie, who's been in the back today, has played an instrumental role in making sure our online platform for the modules looks okay. It could still be improved, but Jackie's done an amazing job with that, so we thank Jackie. And also give a plug, because I believe we're trying to open 2 modules, which is valuation and whole farm systems analysis, and we still need a few more pilot participants, so there's an opportunity there. That's the marketing thing again. But based on consultation, what we're going to do is have all of the modules reviewed, and this speaks to the Bianca, your table's comment is actually been suggested by the steering committee. So all the modules be reviewed with some external people that say, okay, these have been good or not, or what we suggest is their legacy and future, and what next, or are there other things. So that will happen, and we're just getting those terms of reference and people to do that. So that's because it's been clear from the steering committee and from participants that what people are asking for is some sustainability about the professional development space, and that people have a pathway from early career into more experienced. And so based on hearing that, we're wanting to make sure at the end of the project that we're in a position to do that.
We might as well just keep bouncing back and forward here, Ruth. Next, we're going to have a webinar of final project findings and recommendations. So that will include what comes out of today, and we're looking to have that probably in May, June, and that will be roughly an hour of information and interaction around the final findings and recommendations. So the concept is that the information is sent to people who are interested in the webinar. The webinar is conducted and people can interact at the webinar and post-webinar. So that's when we start, and we're starting to, you can see some of the documentation now. The 8 options for action might look like the 3 options for action by the time we get to that stage. So I think Steve's channeling it. You had it down to 4 there for a little while ago, Steve. You crossed, a few of them disappeared from our table, and a lot of them sort of blended in with others. So there'll be a webinar in May, June, around that. Tailored meetings, I'll get you to bounce back here, Ruth. So we're looking to have tailored meetings to share some of the final findings and have dialogue. Some of those will be private, some industry and some public sectors. The first target are actually an option for the people who are involved in the project, their organisations, so the 6 RDCs and the state governments, and then we're moving to a couple of others. Someone mentioned agribusiness before. Agribusiness has floated in and out of this project a little bit, and we feel that we need to perhaps have some final consultation or some more consultation with them. So Ruth, do you want to add anything about those meetings, the consultations?
Just I suppose over the life of the project we've picked up that there could be some interest for these types of discussions with individual RDCs or individual private sector actors, I suppose. So it was just, yeah, and some of the ideas of that have come out of today's tables. You know, can you make this snazzy for something you can discuss? You know, Nikki and Bruce, I think you talked about that. So it's then, okay, then have some meetings with some key groups, the key groups. So really just that was trying to take on board what different people have said to us over the life of the project, Ian. So can't really say more than that.
No,
yeah.
That's good at this stage. The project, the opportunity for project proposals or taking this body of work to further action. So that's not necessarily saying let's put in a rural R&D for profit application. What it is saying is, that's part of it, but it's also very much around how do we move forward with some of these, with this body of work, how do we move forward? And a few people have said, let's not lose the momentum, etc. Some of it probably is, the term used today, a fair bit, skin in the game. Probably some of it's about taking those things on board in our own organisations, in our groups of organisations, with our clients and customers, etc. But there also might be opportunities to look at that as, you know, this project's offered us an opportunity to do things in a far more researched manner and to do things that actually embed themselves in the system far more than diving off and doing it on your own. So this collaborative approach with a group and perhaps fleshing out some of the things that we're finding out of the 8 options for action, the trials, the project in general. So they're a group of people, and that touches on project team consultations. They're a group of people, the project trial team is meeting tomorrow to do exactly that, to take this body of work a little bit further. So for a few hours, 2 or 3 hours tomorrow morning, to take this further, where to next, who's responsible for what, and what bodies of action can move forward. So that's an example of the project team consultations that will continue. Project monitoring and evaluation, benefit cost analysis, and comms development. So all those things will be happening, including some case studies, which are not necessarily just feel-good case studies. They're really case studies of all the things that we've learned in the project, targeting the right area to develop the case study, and the right individuals within that, with the aim of meeting the project outcomes of the entire project right from the start. So the M&E framework's been designed with the outcomes in mind, and so this is the culmination of not just monitoring and evaluation, but all the things that we've been able to capture and produce those in a case study format. So we're excited about that. So the comms, the benefit cost analysis, and the monitoring and evaluation will be involved in that, along with the benefit cost analysis, which is happening across the entire project and industry. And I guess, Ruth, from here...
I really do want to thank the trial teams, which includes the Rural Innovation Research Group researchers, but in particular the project officers and also the trial participants. I sort of have been observing and keeping track, I suppose, of how things have been going and hearing insights, but I just really want to thank you for the commitment and energy and how you built that value proposition and the approach, and that required the joint commitment. So I just wanted to pass that on publicly, and it was fantastic to hear and see the trials come together today and what we can learn across them. So thanks very much for all your efforts to get to today.
Thank you. And finally, there aren't many thank yous left, but to the project partners. Oh, thank you. To the project partners who are all represented here today, including our key lead partner, the Australian Government, Department of Ag and Water Resources. So Romana Showley's here, which is great. So we've had great contact and a relationship with them throughout, and they've been involved in putting a little case study up about our project, which has been terrific in their evaluation report of the program, and that was that we were quite chuffed about that as well. So thank you to all the project partners who've been here today and contributed to not only today but to the trials and throughout the project. So thank you very much.